By the way, that's NiceWigg right there, everybody. I don't have a big startup. I just sort of, start talking and we start talking. And so, yeah, we're talking about how I have given up trying to get viewers. I'm just going to do what I do. Whereas guys like NiceWigg, other streamers, you guys, this is your income, right? I'm sure you have other streams that are ancillary, like promotions and revenue from views on YouTube, things like that. But you've got to be one step ahead of that algorithm all the time, and I just can't do it.
Dude, for like YouTubers and stuff like that, I feel like it's much harder. YouTubers have like this set algorithm that they actually have to go by and like live by. At least I guess for Twitch, it's kind of just like organic viewership can lead the way, or you like kind of, I guess, branching out and like kind of connecting with bigger streamers to get like the way you want to be. That's how other people do it. I feel like on Twitch, there's a lot of different ways for you to grow your audience, but on YouTube, like when I talk to Jenks or I talk to Kobe, like there's this set algorithm and they're researching, like figuring out what tags are the best, what everything's the best. And they might not, be doing something every day Apex related, but they're definitely working on like their ass off behind the fucking scenes, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's that low grade stress that just sort of, it's a low boil. You never notice it. Then one day you realize, my God, all I think about is my damn stream and my content. And I'd like to just revisit my brain for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so I was working as a personal trainer before this for about like a year and a half. And I never did content. So I just started like probably around 20 months ago. And in that time, I like moved out. I moved across the country. My family's over in New York. I lived in Brooklyn. I moved out to San Diego. And in this time, dude, the last like year, it has taught me so much because, you definitely have to care about your profession and what you're doing. But holy shit, was I just stressing all the time about numbers, money, like income. And then I think you come to a point where like, for me, it was very quick, thank God. But you come to a point where like, yeah, I can't keep thinking about this anymore. I gotta just like stop, and what happens, and just let the viewer and everything come organically. I can't do this anymore.
Believe me, that puts you way ahead of where I was at your age. I imagine you're early mid-20s.
Yeah, I'm 24. Yeah,
24. Okay. Yeah. Congratulations, you're in your first year of your mid-20s.
Wait, am I 24? Am I 23? I'm 23, not 24. 23.
23. All right, congratulations. You have Alzheimer's. So.
Yeah, I can't fucking remember my age, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. Dude, wait till you're 51 and you think, how the fuck did I get this far in life?
That's what my mom says all the time, dude.
Yeah, it's like, look, 23 was a minute ago for me. And 23, all right, here's 23 for me. I moved out for the first time. Like I went off to college for my junior and senior year. I come back home for about a year and a half. And in college, I discovered stand-up comedy and acting. And I said, all right, that's what I'm going to do. So I come back home. I hit the local club. I start doing the occasional MC gig as a comic. And then at 23, March 19th, 1993, and I turned 24 in August of that year. On my brother's birthday, I moved down to Orlando because I grew up in Savannah. I go down with a fellow comedian, and we had a blast, but the stress. When you're 23, you're able to sort of cope with stress. It doesn't rack your body quite the same way as when you get older. But I was walking around thinking, this is chaos. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do to make money. I had to get a job at the Olive Garden. I was making like $15 a lunch shift.
Oh my God.
I would go to I know. I'd go to the local clubs. I'd do the open mic. I'd start to get gigs. But as an MC in 93, you made $200 for the week.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, luckily, my rent in 1993 was $195.
See the difference in that? That's fucking crazy to think about, right?
Yeah. Nuts? So I feel you, because when you went down, I didn't quite have the maturity to say, you know what, just let it go. Whatever happens, happens. I just stayed on it. And gradually I started to find my way. Yeah. But believe me, you throw in pearls there. To be able to let go of what's out of your control sets you free.
And I think I've realized like the stress that just comes with everything is majority of my stress is just from things I can't control. And it sucks, but I feel like that's a lot of people's pressures, Yeah. And for someone like you that, I feel like after that, I'm guessing after you were 23 and you went through all that stress, you probably grew up immensely. And you probably, after the years after that, everything just came a little bit like more clear for you, right? I'm guessing.
Well, I did and I didn't. I did get better. at dealing with a lot of that stuff. But then I had a habit. A lot of times when you stress, it's because you have a habit of worrying about things beyond your control.
True. Yep.
Once those things resolve themselves, you think, okay, great. But the habit's still there. So what do? You go find a new set of things that are beyond your control because that's what you're wired to do.
Totally.
It took me 10 years to finally find a cognitive therapist because my uncle's a psychologist. And I hit 34 and he said, you know what? You have an anxiety.
Yeah.
You haven't like an existential crisis. And this is when I went from being a stand-up comic to being a voice actor. And my schedule and my world flipped. It went from, okay, I'm booked for the year. I know where I'm going to be. My job is at night. I show up. I do this. I do that. I know what I'm going to make. To voice acting. You show up in the morning. You go to the agency. You do your auditions. When am I going to work? I don't know. When you book something.
Yeah.
And
That's wild.
Yeah. And I started to do really well. And even then, when I started to do really well, I couldn't handle that. I wasn't used to making that much money. And it wasn't even a whole lot. It was just a lot for me.
Yeah. So and when you start doing well, you start to be worried about if you're going to lose it or not. That's the main thing too for me. 100%.
Oh yeah. I learned a lot. I did it at 34. I recommend anyone doing it when they're ready to do it. Don't wait till you're 34 if you can help it. But what I essentially learned is what you said. You start focusing on what's in your control. You let the rest go. Now, no one does this all the time. We're not perfect. If you can do it 75% of the time, you're going to be fine. You're going to have your ups and downs. And yeah, it took me a while. It took me a few years, even after learning this stuff, to really make it a part of my life. But yes, you can do it. It can be done, but you're rewiring all this machinery. It takes time.
Dude, growing up, it's fucking hard. I don't blame anyone who has growing pains. Like my best friend right now is 23. He's like same thing as me. He's going through growing pains, and that's just fucking the way it is sometimes. Like you just gotta understand people's situations. Everyone grows up at a different rate. My brother's growing up now and he's 27. It's just, everything takes time. You can't judge someone on that.
Yeah.
And I think with this business, you have like 16-year-olds, like for streamers and stuff, like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds with 30,000 people watching them a day. And it's just like, those guys got to grow up quick too. And that's a lot of pressure for these teenagers. And I think another thing I've seen myself doing is since all this pressure and all this stress and anxiety come from, you do stuff to get the views, you do stuff to make yourself less stressed, and you start to conform a little bit to what is getting the views. And I've recognized myself over the year, kind of change from who I was just, to see if to be a little bit more like the people who are getting the views. And then you start questioning, hey man, do I even like my content right now? Am I doing what I want to do? Am I putting out what I like? And it's just, streaming, as much as people say it is a luxury, and I'm definitely blessed, dude. Like I would never go and pick another job in this world at all. But there's a lot of stresses that come with this shit, like for sure, without a doubt. Yeah.
Believe me, that was the same road I was on in stand-up. When you're a stand-up comic, especially in the 90s. In the 90s, it was all about riding this wave that had started in the 80s where everybody had a sitcom. So you're trying to get noticed so they can put you on your own show or put you on somebody else's show. You can make the real money. And you got to come up through the road to build your act, or you got to go to New York or LA to get industry sets so the people who make the big decisions can see you. But you can't do it before you're not ready, because if you fuck up and they think, well, he's just a shitty comic who doesn't know what he's doing yet, now they already know you. You made a bad first impression. And then when you're in the clubs, you're trying to make a living because you get paid $200 or you get paid $500 to be the feature, or you get paid $1,000 or $1,200 to be the headliner. You want to make the headliner money, even if you're not ready. You're looking at what the audience is laughing at. Oh, well, should I do stuff like that? Should I start being more like him so I can get the laughs? Because my income depends on it. My rent depends on this. And before you know it, same thing. It's like, do I even like my act? None of it's me. It's getting all these laughs, and people walk out and they have no idea who I am.
It's not even me. I'm just putting out something just so I can maybe get the little bit of extra money. And I guarantee in the 90s, dude, it's probably so much harder because, there's not a lot of ways in the 90s to get recognition like there is now. You can't go on TikTok. You can't go on Instagram.
No.
You can't go on Facebook. You can't go on Twitter. Like, there's one-way street. It's just live performances. Is where people see is what they think they're getting. And there's no other way to explain it,
Dude, the go-getters in the 90s, the guys who hustled, had mailing lists. They would have their own cards printed up. They'd put them on the table, and they'd say before they were done with their act, hey, go ahead and write your name down and your address, and I'll send you a card. And they had to send every single person a postcard when they were coming back to their town. So they would come out. They would bring T-shirts with them. They'd have a case of T-shirts. They'd sell those after the show. They'd have, hey, I got my show on cassette. I recorded it live at this club, and here you can buy it here. I mean, they were hustling, and I never did any of that shit.
How did you go from stand-up comedy to voice acting? How did you even get into voice acting?
I was doing, even as a kid, I was doing voices just to amuse my brothers, and I did it for my friends. And then in college, I discovered acting class, which I really enjoyed. So I realized that with my short attention span and my lazy work ethic, I was only fit to be a performer. Now, that means you either starve or you get a day job that'll pay your bills while you're figuring out how to be a performer. There's no right or wrong way. So I graduate, I get into stand-up because I discovered it in college. I really liked it. I did well enough to be able to get gigs and to be able to just barely make a living. As I got into my late 20s, I got a little bit more breathing room. I was able to live a little bit more like an adult. But even then in Orlando in the 90s, there was a bit of an acting scene. There was enough for you to get like under 5-line parts for big shows.
Yeah, like some sort of money, yeah.
Yeah, so I booked enough jobs on like Nickelodeon, on like the original, the original All That show, and
that's so
on
cool,
Keenan and Kel and stuff like that. So
that's fucking so sick.
Yeah, I realize now that a lot of the people who watch me on my Twitch saw me on these shows when I was
wild.
Yeah, just in my 20s. But as I was doing this, I also had an agent that would put me out there for voiceover jobs, and I started to book the occasional voiceover job. So gradually, as I moved to LA, I moved to LA in 97, and I started to get tired of the road. By like 2000, I was getting burned out.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and I thought I can keep pounding my head on this brick wall, but I'm tired of all the travel. Like, you're gone 30 weeks a year, and you're thinking, why do I live in LA? I mean, hell, I could move back to the East Coast and pay a lot less in rent, but then I missed those opportunities. And so I finally said, I'm going to try and get a voice acting agent and just do that. And luckily, because I had done some voices for theme park rides.
Oh, okay.
Like if you go to Orlando, if you go to the Islands of Adventure, I'm Spider-Man on the Spider-Man ride, and J. Jonah Jameson.
That's so cool, man. What the fuck? I didn't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did. I've been around. I recorded that in 97, 98, and that ride opened in 99.
Isn't that awesome that you're still there too? That's so sick.
That ride is just about your age. So,
around there, man.
Yeah. But hey, I got a meeting with an agent. I signed up with her, and within a year or two, it was working out. You know, it worked out.
That's so cool.
So I got lucky, knock on wood. I was able to make that transition. I have not regretted it. I occasionally would do stand-up to keep, my feet wet. But
totally.
Now nobody's doing stand-up traditionally. It's
really hard. I feel like stand-up right now is kind of like monopolized a little bit. I feel like there's just like those 3 people that like people know, and that's what everyone watches, the Netflix. Like it's like once you get the Netflix, I feel like you're in. But before that, it's really hard to get noticed,
It's really tough. A lot of guys were like in the late 90s when I moved to LA, everybody wanted a development deal. So they wanted a network or production company to throw money at you to develop something around you. And the guys who would get the big development deals are the ones who had the pressure taken off. It's like, okay, I can do the road a little bit, but I got enough money to stay in town. Maybe a break will come, maybe it won't. Yeah. And then, at the time it was to get a Comedy Central special.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I know comics that got Comedy Central specials. They got a little bit of money for it, and nothing happened. So you just never know. And now,
exactly.
If I were a comic now, it would be, I got to get a Netflix special.
Yeah, it's and that's probably slim to none. Like that's almost borderline impossible. You know how many people probably trying to get a Netflix special right now?
I'm sure there's tons of them. But here's what you young guys have now. I have it as an advantage too. Everybody has access to it. Mm-hmm. But thanks to YouTube, thanks to Twitch, thanks to platforms, you can sit with a bunch of boxes behind you.
Yep. Just like
you can make stuff and thousands of people will watch. Or in my case, tens of people will watch.
Man, and that's why I wanted to start this. That's like, to me, that's just, I'd wake up, like when I was working the personal training job, I'd wake up like 4 a.m. I'd watch my favorite streamer or whoever's live on like my favorite game.
Right.
And I'd be like, dude, it's so cool that you're just playing a video game. It doesn't matter like what you're saying, what you're doing. People are just are here watching you, enjoying your time. It doesn't matter what's behind you, like you have a $4 camera, I watched a guy named Tyler One. I don't know if you're familiar with Tyler One. He's probably like He's probably like the biggest League of Legends streamer.
Okay.
And he literally just wears a tank top. He has like a $5 headset. That's what he's known for. He has a $5 camera, and his quality of his stream is horrible. And he just has 40,000 people watching him just for him. And like me, I'd wake up and I'm like, I want to do something. It doesn't have to be 70,000, 30,000 people. I just want to do something like that because that to me is just, I play video games my whole life. Why would I not want to try to jump on this like whole big bandwagon that's going on that I've watched for so long,
Yeah.
I've been watching streamers since I was about, probably like, I've been watching Soda Pop and like, he's another World of Warcraft streamer since like probably 10 years ago when it was just in TV instead of Twitch, for so long. And dude, streaming and all like this innovative stuff is so cool. Cause now you see, besides like the Twitch and the YouTubers, now there's TikTokers who are making, there's that like with that girl, Charlie, whatever her name is, like 16, man, on Super Bowl ads because she dances on TikTok. And that to me is just like something I want to be a part of. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's so inspiring.
Oh, yeah, because when I was growing up, if you had an idea, great. Maybe somebody had a video camera you could borrow if your family didn't have one. And then you had to edit it. Nobody could edit a video. No. I mean, you shot it. You had to take it to a facility. And, that's just not how it works. So if you had a friend who was really knowledgeable, he would edit it in camera. All right, we're going to stop there. Then we're going to put that there. And I got 2 VCRs and we're going to hook them up and we're going to sort of rearrange it and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Now I got my phone. I put it on here. I send it out. All these people see it.
And it's that easy. Like the access to like the touch and like to touch millions of people, like hundreds of thousands, millions of people. It's just so simple now. Like if it does happen for you, that it just, to me, it was just so inspiring. I like my whole life, my life was shaped behind like streamers, by streamers and stuff like that. And for the fact that I get messages now, whether it's like two a month, whatever it may be, I don't even care how many it is. Just like, hey man, your stream makes my day better. It's just, why would you not want to do that for someone? I think that's awesome.
Well, that's got to be pretty cool for you, knowing that what those streamers did for you and you watch them. Now the dynamic is you're the streamer that's doing that for somebody out there who might have nothing else to look forward to that day but your stream.
Yeah, and that's what is like a big motivation that keeps me going, is because now I'm that someone for someone instead of and I still have those people that do it for me, which is crazy because they're like the big brother, I'm like the little brother, and then like they're down there watching me now, and the big brother's up top still doing his thing. And to me, it's just like it's just very motivating to know that I could be like someone's that, and for me as like a kid in high school, everyone sees me like, I'm very blessed to have like the name that I have in Apex community and Twitch as like the happy, go lucky guy that's always excited about things. Right. And my nickname in my old job was Lab because I just get happy about the dumbest shit. Like I just be like, yo, you want to go work out? I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. Like, so my nickname was Lab. And behind the scenes, dude, for like, I was going to go to college, man. So like my story's a little bit different. This is what pushed me, is in college, I was supposed to go away to my best friend. I went to do like the, whatever that's called. Like, I forget where you go for like 2 days, visit the college, do activities, then you go back. And then like you go the next month.
Orientation or pre-register.
Yeah. I went to the orientation and I went back and I was like, dude, to my best friend, we're moving in a week. I was like, I can't do it. I can't go to college. I can't go to this place. And he was like, hated me for like a month, we still talk, thank God. But then I went home and I realized like, damn, like I don't know what to do in my life now. And I just was depressed for like the next 2 years. And like there was moments in my life where I just literally didn't want to be here. And thank God for like those Twitch streamers that were like there to actually make me laugh. My friends weren't available, or I was going through something that I didn't want to tell someone. Thank God they were there to make me laugh. Even if like I didn't talk to them directly, they were still making me have a better day.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people have to remember too, when you're going away to college, that is enormously stressful, even if you're excited about it. The one thing I learned about stress is that even positive change is stressful.
Totally.
Like if you have something that changes your life, let's say you get a great job, but it's a different schedule, that's still going to be stress on your body and on your mind because you're adapting. And I don't think people give themselves enough time to sort of adapt to these changes that happen to them. Yeah.
Totally, man. When I was going to that college, man, I was only 4 hours away upstate from my family. And I was like going on that drive home after I was like, thank God I'm with them again, like, holy shit, I missed you guys. Like, and it might take me 2 years to like really step away from my like family and like try to be my own person. But that's just, that's life, like sometimes if you're a family guy, it might take you a little while to get away from your family and disconnect from them. And if you do it too quick, it could hurt you in the long run. But some people could just say, fuck it, I'm out. I'll see you in like 3 years. I don't even care if I see you, you know?
Yeah, you start asking yourself, all right, how much have I learned to do without these other people here helping me, encouraging me, supporting me? So at a certain point, you need to be able to build those skills to say, okay, I can do this, without being so close to them. But I still got the phone. I still got my email, my texts. I still got a way to keep in contact. Like my wife is Venezuelan. She is Latin to the core when it comes to family. Yeah. She talks to her mom and dad multiple times a day.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
And she'll ask me, how's your dad? I go, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in months. That's just
different, you know?
Yeah, it's just different where I come from. You're like,
exactly.
How's so and so? How's so and so?
Yep.
Beats me, baby.
They're probably fine. Yeah, they're good.
They're good. It's like, baby, you're my family. Okay, you and the kids, you're my family.
Yeah.
All right.
See, it's different for everyone, man. And I think that's where empathy needs to step in, because like some people just grow up, bro. It's just like, hey man, listen, like for me, like your growing up's different than my growing up. We all have like different things we have to overcome, even if they're all positive changes we're making. It's just not that easy to just like say, hey, grow up, I feel like that's where a lot of people lack, is like empathy. Like in more modern times, is empathy people lack for sure.
We are definitely lacking in that. I think what happens is Louis C.K., who has his own problems, but is a brilliant comedian, had a bit about, he said, kids are mean because they're trying it out. Yeah. All right. They don't know any better. And they'll say to another kid, you're ugly. Yeah. And the other kid will make this face and they're hurt by it. And the kid who said it says, oh, that hurt their feelings. That makes me feel, I shouldn't do that. Yeah. But when they have a phone and they can just text it, you're ugly. Yeah. They can't see the kid's reaction. And it just, wow, that made me feel good to say that. Yeah. They don't learn what it's like for another person to feel bad and for them to be the cause of it. They don't learn to empathize. It's like, hey, you know what? I wouldn't like that.
Totally, dude.
Thanks to the internet, you must get this a lot. People sometimes come on your stream and they're maybe not as positive as they should be.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't realize, it's like, hey man, look, I can take it, but not everybody can. Maybe you shouldn't be writing that stuff.
And I say that honestly, when I have people that come in and are just, just like, not even like things that could hurt me. It's just like, you're trash, you're garbage, like fuck you, streamer. And it's just like literally like that. I'm just like, man, listen, I'm not gonna ban you because you might be having a tough day. I'll give you a couple more chances, But like I personally am not affected by that. But like other streamers definitely could be having a bad day, and that one message could really break them down. To keep it real, I haven't told anyone about this, but I guess I was a hefty boy.
Okay.
I was 380 pounds in my peak. I was really big like 3 years ago.
How tall are you?
And I'm 6'4".
6'4". All right. So you're big hungry either way, brother.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
You're tight end. You're tight end inside linebacker.
That's what I played in high school. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So like I was a big boy, right?
Right.
And when I went to personal training, I lost 180 pounds. I got in really good shape. And in quarantine, I started gaining some weight back. Like that's what it is. And some days when I wake up, I'm not having the best of days in the morning. I get on and someone mentions my weight gain. It's just like, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to just completely lose it. But like small things, I'm going to be like, damn, that fucking comment hurt a little bit. Like, I can't lie.
Yeah. That's what they mean by the straw that broke the camel's back. You can put a bale of hay on there and it's the camel's okay. Yeah. Put that one extra straw. It's like, man, I didn't need that shit.
Dude. Like, come the fuck on, bro. Like, you really had to say that today, like, of all days, dude. And, like, sometimes, bro, I'll be having a bad day and someone says something really mean. And, honestly, it kind of makes my day better because it just makes me laugh. Like, it's just like, there's no way someone's, like, that mad at me right now. I didn't even do anything. Like, that's so funny to me.
Yeah. I had somebody come on. Like, I don't have an unmanageable number of viewers on my stream. It's pretty easy for one mod to keep track of. But I had somebody come on. It's rare because I have a very positive, chill stream. Somebody came on and they were just, they were just sort of at it. They were just relentlessly being negative. Yeah. And the mod at first let him get away with it once or twice, but said, hey, keep it positive. And then they banned him. And I looked back and I said, I don't have a problem with that. I said, look, if you're going to criticize me, feel free. I'm a sucky gamer, so I don't mind you saying so, but have a sense of irony, have fun with it. Be creative in how you mock my shitty gameplay. Yeah. But if you're just coming with a mean comment, then I know that you just bring a negativity. Like if somebody finds a creative way to tell me how bad I am, I'll say, hey man, well done.
Yeah,
well met.
Funny.
I appreciate a good joke. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to band hammer him, and I'll say, hey, come on back when you learn how to, at least make a joke.
Yeah, and now we got all these. What's it called? Like the unbanned reviews. Like they can now request an unban. You have to review like their. Appeal.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really funny. Like there's now like appeals. So like my mom's being like, you banned this guy for saying like nice Jibby cosplay. Do you want me to unban him? And I'm like, you know what? That's pretty funny. Yeah, just fucking unban him. I was having a bad day. Just do it. Like, that's fine.
All right. Hey, good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But, hey, at least you can take things in your life that you've used successfully and apply them to what you're doing now. Like to go from 380 to 200 and do it through diet, exercise, and the right attitude. Like with a bad attitude, you can't do any of that.
No.
So the discipline, and as a personal trainer, the discipline you need. So all of these things, these life skills you use to keep yourself healthy, to keep feeling better about yourself, and you can apply them to your stream and to this basically this what's a good way to call it? I mean, this venture that you're on,
Totally.
And that's the kind of discipline that gets you where you want to be. People forget that. It doesn't just happen.
No, it doesn't just happen. And I think that's another thing is like, again, it comes along growing up, but there's also like journeys that people are going through, like you could be one person could be trying to find their forever job. Another person could just be going to school part-time, just trying to lose as much weight as possible and like focusing on their body and their mental health, And I think that's where, again, like people just don't realize, just because everyone's going through something different doesn't mean that like you're doing the right thing or they're doing the wrong thing, or they're doing the right thing, you're doing the wrong thing. There's no wrong or right in life right now. It's just you're doing what's right for you or what you feel is right, and you're just going with it. And that's totally understandable and fine too. Yeah.
The one thing I can say people should always keep in mind is what you said. As long as you're focusing on what's in your control, you're doing it right. You may find different ways to go about it, but that's all window dressing after that. If you're focusing on what's in your control and you're setting manageable goals, then you're doing it right. So,
dude, and what's fucking wild is the reason that like the last couple months, my mindset has changed. It's something like so simple. I played a game called Assassin's Creed. It's Assassin's Creed.
Which one is it?
It's the new one. I can't think of the name right now.
It must be.
I played like.
Is it 4 or 5?
It's the one where in the Greek, all the Greek mythology. I can't remember why. I can't remember the name, dude.
Yeah, I know. I haven't played it yet. I played 3.
It's one of my favorite games, dude. Like big time. And,
okay.
There's one quote, it's all about the Spartan era and like stuff like that. And there's one thing that the main character's like family always said, just always forward. Like, and it's just too like really. It sounds corny because if I heard it on a motivational video, I'd be like, oh come on, it's just some words. But when watching it in like a way like that, and all these like things these people have like Spartans had to overcome, and like just always keep moving forward. It's fucking wild because those two things have helped me so much. It's like, okay, you know what, my power shut off. Like I could just sit there and like complain about it and not be able to stream today and like be pissed because I was having a good stream, or I could just keep moving forward and go on to the next thing that's completely unrelated to stream and working on another aspect in my life, because for me, dude, like in the beginning when I lived at home for a little bit after I lived in Brooklyn, and my parents lived in the middle of the fucking woods, so like the power would just go out for like 2 days at a time randomly if a tree fell down or a branch, right? And I'd be livid. I'd be sitting there soaking. I'd be like, dude, I just want to stream, man. Like I'll just be sitting there trying to do everything to get the power back, just thinking about that. And I think back on those moments now, like, hey, I could have just been doing something completely unrelated to stream, making myself a better person in another category, instead of just sitting here, just be like, oh my God, just turn on. What is my luck right now? Like, why am I just sulking in it? Why am I sitting in like this feeling,
Yeah.
Those two words really help me. And I want to put that on like a fucking shirt or something and always wear it, dude.
Sure. Yeah. It's what my uncle, when he would treat patients, he says, I'm trying to take them from being reactive to being proactive. So you can either respond to all the things that happen to you and let that determine your mood.
Yeah.
Or you can say, okay, that stuff happened. What can I do in this moment? And always forward is a great way to get your ass off the couch, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it's funny, reactive, not proactive. When I was on CLG as a professional player, our team had our conflicts, whatever it was. But my first thing our team psychologist said to me is like, you're reactive. Like you're not proactive, you're very reactive. And I was like, Huh. I never really thought about it like that. I'm not like a smart guy, So like sometimes I just think of like I'm just raw emotion. I don't really step back or like think anything. And I don't know if that comes with smarter, but you know what I'm saying? Like when I
Yeah,
can't, sometimes I just can't put it into words.
gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
hearing a word like hearing saying like reactive, stop being reactive, be proactive was like, oh shit, I never
Right.
thought about that once, man.
Yeah, well, there are different kinds of smarts too, because there are people who test well,
Mhm.
and but then emotionally they're immature, and
Yeah.
so I'll take a person who is emotionally together over a high IQ who's a baby any day,
Yeah,
who can't
totally.
deal with disappointment because the people, and we have a 7 and a 9 year old, and you're raising a human being, and you're trying to give them the tools to be a happy, healthy, loving, respectful adult who's a good citizen, who knows how to please themselves, who knows how to be caring and respectful of others, and who knows how to follow their passion in life with the right attitude. And
Yeah.
so smarts can help,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've met some really smart people in my life, and when it comes to their emotional IQ, it's like they're banging rocks together.
Yeah.
They don't get it.
It's and that's where like my brother's a genius, like he almost like scored perfect SAT scores, all that stuff, right?
Uh,
And then it comes down to like when before he started working on it, and like really trying to get better, he was
right.
emotionally very immature. He was like
Yeah.
a little kid when it came down to his emotions, but then
Mm-hmm.
some genius when he'd go to school.
Yeah.
And like that's I think there's like you have to like trying to find I guess you have to try to find what your weakness is, because
Yeah.
it's very obvious. I feel like if you get into a confrontation, what your weakness is. Like, are you struggling and just work? Like, is your emotions just overflowing and you can't control them, or are you having trouble putting things into words? And that could be
Right.
like the smart aspect, or it could be the emotional aspect too. Because when I'm arguing with like my mom or something, I'm like super laid back, but I can't put my emotions into words. And like this is things where I feel like again it comes back to like I guess kind of empathy and talking to people is like reaching out to people is that I feel like now in like more modern times, the more and more we go on, like less and less people are talking to each other about what's wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we all struggle. A lot of people are struggling with emotional maturity because they're afraid to reach out and actually express what they're feeling.
Oh, yeah. And especially during a pandemic when people were already spending a lot of time online, myself included.
Yeah.
And then you take away the opportunity for physical contact because right now there's no responsible way to have physical contact with another person that you don't know, that you know that you do not know that they're negative for COVID.
Yep. Exactly.
So take away that and you realize human beings are social animals. We need that interaction. You need to read facial cues. You need to hear a tone of voice. You can't just type words to people back and forth all day and feel like you're getting a completely authentic interaction. You need the other stuff. And eventually you're going to start feeling an imbalance.
Yep.
Because you're not getting those things. And yeah, empathy can be one of the first things to go. You don't know what that person's dealing with that day, and it's hard for them to convey it.
Yeah, it's really hard. I honestly, man, for all the arguments I had with like my friends or something over text, I just wish I fucking talked about it in person. It would have been 10 times easier,
Yeah.
Like over text. And like you said, like with that, irresponsible seeing someone, you never know like what they just did, if they got it from someone, like you never know. So it's super hard to do that responsibly, and conveying your emotions over text, like it is just, to me, almost damn near impossible. Like I hate settling anything over text, man. I really do.
It is tough, but most communication is nonverbal. It's how a person says something and their tone of voice, things like that, their body language. So, like, if you meet your friend out and you can see that they're slouching, their eyes are kind of down, their voice is kind of muted, you're thinking, hey, what's wrong? Brother, you're having a tough day already. I can tell you haven't said anything, but I can see it.
Yeah.
If they're texting you, it's really hard to parse that stuff out.
Yeah, all you have to do to cover is just put a couple exclamation points, a smiley face, an emoji, and like everyone thinks you're all good and dandy.
Yeah,
and that's when it gets to me. I feel like you have to just reach out, especially during quarantine. You have to reach out to your friends, like for sure, because I know when you're just cooped up inside all day and you can't go out and do the things that you love. If you're a big foodie like right now, and that's like something you like to do, you can't go out and get food every day. You can't go out and get food every weekend. Like you can't go out and have drinks. There's like certain things you have to cope with right now, and you have to find another healthy, like another healthy output, but that's not easy. Like,
No.
I wouldn't even know what to do if I was a foodie right now. What's another healthy output? Maybe learn to cook, but that's not that easy either. That's
Yeah.
not the same feeling. That's hard.
It is hard. The one thing I am thankful for is that I've done body weight exercises for years, like 15 years or so. So
That's awesome.
I don't miss not having a gym. I can do it. Like I did my workout before we talked. I have a bar I put across the doorway. I got a couple of rings for my kids to swing on, and I just use them for biceps. I was just pulling myself up.
Yeah.
I thought, that'll work because I get tired of doing the straight chin-ups and all that.
Yep, totally.
So I try to tell people that watch, it's like, look, all you need is a floor and a doorway, and you got a gym. So I don't want to hear anybody say, I can't work out because of COVID. You just need a floor, all right? You can work out.
Dude, when I went to Brooklyn, man, I moved in with 2 personal trainers that I didn't even know them really. I moved for like 2 months. We were just in training. We moved into a Brooklyn apartment together. And one of them, man, is a freak athlete, calisthenic junkie, man. He was like, fucking tattoos from head to the floor. Just all he did was live, breathe, and like calisthenics. That's all he did. Just sleep and wake up, calisthenics, and just talk about it, hang out. And he went to all these competitions. And that's one thing. This whole quarantine, I've been like, I'm jealous because I gained weight. I can't go to the gym because I love like doing compound lifts and all the aspects of the gym. But I'm thinking like in my back of my mind, I'm like, man, my roommate back there is probably just chilling. He probably put his 2 little parallel bars down on the ground, doing his little sets, working towards his competition. And that's something I think calisthenics is like, it is extremely, it doesn't have to be extreme. People see like calisthenic videos of people do flipping on bars. It doesn't have to be that. Yeah, no. It can be something so much more simple and extremely healthy.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to be doing like pistol squats, which are almost impossible. Like I can't. I tried them. I'm like, man, I'm just going to fall every time I do that. Yeah. But you could literally take this hand, do this, and then just start pushing against it as you do this. It's like, that's a bicep curl. You're providing the weight with your other hand. And if somebody says, oh, that's not going to do anything. Do it 10 times, pushing hard against yourself. Tell me that didn't feel like a 30-pound weight, 40-pound weight, all of that. Same thing with your legs. Do slow squats, do jump squats. I would challenge anyone to do 20 straight jump squats where you're crouching down, jumping straight up. It's winded. Fucking hard.
You are fucked. Before your legs even collapse, you feel like your lungs are just exploding, dude.
Exactly.
And I used to do when I was really actively losing weight, I would like the TRX cables, you know what those are?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's like rings, but just like really easy grips.
Yeah.
And like they're tied to like a kind of like Olympic set where you're just hanging down. Yeah. And you have like full 360 motion. Really cool. Right.
Oh yeah.
And like, I would literally do the jump squats while holding those, bro. And like I would be dead. I would literally and I could do that for 5 minutes. I'm winded, I'm on the ground, but then I can go deadlift however many pounds and I'm fine, Yeah. So it doesn't have to be so extreme because your body tests all your limits just by itself without any extra weight, etc.
Well, plus when when you work out, when you're done, you feel great.
Amazing.
Even if you're tired, the endorphins have come and you feel like, you know what? I did something. Yeah. I feel like I did something today. I was productive. That little boost of confidence makes it easier for you to do the next thing. Well, if I can work out, then I can do this too.
Totally. And that's, working out for me was like a long-term goal. And like that long-term goal is like when you say you're going to work out is no matter what a long-term goal, to be honest, because it's something that just slowly progresses no matter how much effort you're putting into it. You can't just change overnight, right? No. You could see your body change within a month, right? But you're not going to see your goal. Right. You're not going to see like your end game there. And I think that's why I love it because it's something that's going to keep you motivated for years or maybe months at a time. And you could just keep going and going because your body just doesn't have limits to the point where depending on how hard you're working out. I love that about exercise, man. That was like the main thing for me is that the motivation daily was always there because you're always trying to advance what your body looks like or what you feel like. And I love that so much.
Yeah. It's your whole life. I mean, I have a buddy who he was a fellow comic and he played like AA baseball and he passed Bud's training with the SEALs. And then he said, yeah, I'm done. I don't want any more SEAL shit. It's like, I got through Bud's. That's all I wanted to do. So he used to tell me, he says, dude, your body is the vehicle that's taking you through life. All right. Yeah. So just, you're always going to find a way to work out. You're always going to find a way to exercise. You change it up as much as you want because you're going to do it your whole life. Yeah. And it's not, I reached this and now I can just stop. It's like, well, you stop, you're going to give it all back.
Yeah.
So
you got to maintain.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a guy who lifts, and it's Mike O'Hearn. He's on YouTube. I know Mike O'Hearn. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Everybody says he's not natty, and some people said, no, he's natural. It's like, you know what? I don't care what the guy is. He's a fucking Greek god if you look at his body, one way or the other. Yeah. Listen. And he knows working out regardless of what he's doing. Yeah.
Totally. And, my mom was a bodybuilder. My mom competed and everything. She did triathlons, all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And, she was involved with people who she never did steroids herself, right. But, she was involved. Everyone that she trained with, I was doing competitions, were on some type of a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah.
And you know what? No matter what anyone says, I don't care if you're doing steroids. It's your choice.
Yeah, it's your body.
You want to do right, your body. And if your goal is to look like, literally, like you said, a Greek statue, and all the power to you, because even if you're under everything under the sun, man, it's still a ton of work. It's a lot of discipline.
You can't. Yeah, I've never taken them. I'm never gonna. But you can't just take them and then just go, all right, where are the muscles?
Yeah, no, you don't do that. And that's what I think a lot of people think just happens. I'm just gonna get on there and get shredded. It's just like, no, man. Well, you gotta. Yeah, these people actually follow an insanely strict diet, calorie count, macros, everything.
Oh, yeah. And the one thing O'Hearn said that I definitely clicked with, because he's about a year older than me, is he said, as you get older, you can't just maintain. You have to actually continue to improve, because Father Time is going to start atrophying your muscles. Yeah. So if you don't push yourself to grow, you will actually fall back. So if you're maintaining and you're in your 40s and 50s, you'll actually fall back. You have to continue to grow so that you'll keep what you're having. So you have to grow to maintain when you hit a certain age.
Yeah.
Right now, you, as a 23-year-old, you could eat a pizza and go for a jog and it's gone. It's done.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah.
As you get 100%. Older, you'll have to become more disciplined, but that's fine. You're already building the discipline now.
Mm-hmm. Always, and that's one thing I realized is with, again, like bringing it back to like the streamer aspect is, I was talking, funny enough, I was talking to my best friend and like old teammate Noko. I don't know if you know Noko Puffs.
Oh yeah, I know of them. I don't think I've gotten to play with him yet.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And, he was on my stream yesterday, and he's, his dad's beast. His dad's fucking like, just brolic, looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Right.
And Noko has been struggling along with like a lot of other streamers just with his diet, eating. He loses weight like it's nothing. So if he doesn't work out and he doesn't eat a lot, he just gets extremely like self-conscious about his body and gets skinny.
Right.
And he's talking on his stream, and a lot of people were judging him, but he's talking on his stream, he's paying $1,000 for a personal chef to come and meal prep for him every week. And like I told him, like $1,000 a month to make yourself healthy, that's a fucking investment, man. That's awesome. I was like, no matter what anyone says, you might just be able, if they just say go up and cook, like whatever. It's not that easy for like this lifestyle, because some days you're on this computer sitting down hunchback for 14 hours, and then another day it's 4 hours. You never know what you're gonna do. That
to me is the most amazing thing about this, and this is why I put it up on my YouTube yesterday or last night. It took me till now to get to 50,000 subs, which I was thrilled by, because last year at the beginning of this year, I had 4,000 subs. Yeah. So it just kind of blew up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the year before that, I had 400. And so, it's just YouTube can go crazy. And then it's tapered off big time. And with a lot of Apex people, the views have just dropped off the table. Mm-hmm. And so I started to realize that, you know what? I'm starting to chase. I'm chasing this too much. I'm wanting this too much. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to have to start scheduling extra time in to try and get these numbers. And I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a voice actor. Yeah. I try to stay fit. And then, yes, I also try to create. And I tell myself, each of these things has a role in my life. And I'm lucky that at 51, I've got enough of a career going in voice acting that I can say I don't need any of this other stuff. I do it because I like to. Yeah. But I see, like, I went from streaming 4 days a week down to 2, just enough to keep affiliate status, and that's it. Totally. And like, forget partner. I don't even think I'm ever going to make that at this point. But
you don't know that,
yeah, maybe. But
maybe, you never know.
I think to myself, how do these guys get on for 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, or more, and not start to feel it add up after a while, and not crash? And what happens when you crash? What do you do for yourself? How do you handle it? And do you learn a lesson from that? Do you say, maybe I have to find a balance? I mean, how are you, like, how does somebody who streams as much as you kind of add up the hours and say, if I reach this point, it's too much. How do I know?
Honestly, for me, it depends on if I'm having a good time on what I'm doing that day.
Okay.
Like if I get on and like say I'm playing Apex, right, and the games are going bad, and I'm just thoroughly not enjoying myself, maybe I'll call it early for the day, or maybe I'll try to push through and just go for like hit a 7-hour mark,
Okay.
But if I'm having a good time and I'm really enjoying myself, sometimes that could make my week even better if the stream is going well and I stay longer, So I think like the burnout doesn't come throughout like a day. It's like a really big add up over time. And you see, I felt that too, was around like 2 months ago where I never took a break. In the almost 2 years I've been streaming now, like I've been around for 20 months, almost 2 years. It's been crazy. Like, I never took a break. I never took a break longer than 3 days. Right.
Okay.
And at one point I looked back at my VOD and I was like, dude, you are complaining. Like in my mind, I was like, you're bitching and moaning every game. Like, you really think this is what you want right now? Like, you think like this is what you want to do? I took that week break and I took that time I didn't post anywhere. I did nothing. Right. And I came back and I felt better than ever. Right. But I think a lot of things that streamers struggle with is this is not really a job where you feel comfortable leaving for 3 or more days because you're like, they're going to find someone else to watch. They're going to do something else. Right. So I think the burnout comes with like over time. And I think having yourself having yourself have a set schedule is extremely important. Like having sporadic days to me has always caused me more stress in streaming. But right when I was like, you know what, I'm going to work out in the morning. I'm going to get on at this time. I'm going to play till around, this is the cap. I'm going till 9, the latest, no matter how good it's going.
Gotcha.
I'm going till 9 and I got to get off because then I have other shit to do. And that's what makes me happy. And I go again tomorrow.
Right.
But some of these people that you see tweet a lot of the time that play, streamers in general, when they have these burnouts, it's because all they do is stream. They don't have anything else outside of it that, could really help their mindset, like just kind of increase their mindset to be healthier. It's just stream. And that's not healthy. You got to find other things outside of streaming. So when you get off stream, you're not thinking about streaming, thinking about something else. And that's extremely important for sure.
Yeah. So structure is a big 100%. Thing. Yeah. Structure is that if you want to talk about like motivational speakers, a lot of them can sound really cheesy, but there's a lot of wisdom in a lot of this advice, and a lot of it's based on cognitive concepts that are proven. And one of them, Tony Robbins, another guy who is far from perfect, but he says, you know what? Willpower will only take you so far. Habit is what's going to really get you where you're going to need to go. You build a habit, and it's something you'll do without even thinking about it. So if your structure is in place, then you don't have to think about it. All right, it's this time. It's time for me to do this. And then when this time comes, I'm done. I'm off. My habit is built. It's a constructive habit. It works. Yeah. Now I've got time for the other parts of my life that I have to tend to stay in balance.
Totally. And that's something that I've realized. I've never had a set schedule with streaming. I've always just kind of hopped on, then hopped off whenever it was. Yeah. And I've realized over time that made me literally feel crazy. Because I'd stream for 10 hours and then I'd get off and I'd sit on this computer for another 2. And all I do is just look at like analytics and what I could do to be better. And that's fine. But I had nothing that was changed my mind over this quarantine because the gym is something that like takes my mind off this. Right. So I didn't have that for myself. And I realized, what if happens to the gym? I can't go to the gym again. What am I going to do? I have to so I just started like finding other hobbies, different things that I enjoy. And for me, one of them is like if you saw my background when I streamed, like anime is one of the big things that I enjoy. That takes my mind off a lot of stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about that, but it's just one of them. It's just something that I like. And it's a hobby.
Believe me, I have done dozens of episodes of anime, and I'm amazed at the depth of fan devotion to some of these shows. Like I've done Naruto for a lot of episodes. I had no idea, but I used to ask, I said, how many episodes of this show have they made? They said, oh, God, we can't even count them at this point. So many. So they're not making them for nobody.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's another thing is I feel like in the spotlight that you are as a streamer, I feel as though in certain cases, there was this big streamer named Lyric a while back, and I don't like the name drop, but it's just like, if there's a big streamer named Lyric, you don't have to put it in, just big streamer. And he tweeted, like he was one of the first big streamers to say, hey, I'm not doing good mentally. I need to take a break. Like that was one of the first, like 4 years ago, right? 3 years ago. And the fucking replies, man, were brutal. You make money
Really?
playing video games. How the fuck?
Yeah.
Why are you taking a break? You make money just sitting on your ass all day. Why are you upset? Like you make millions doing this. And that's another thing where I feel like the burnout comes over time because you're afraid that people are going to think that of you and you're not grateful. When in reality, it's just like any other job. It's just like obviously we're very thankful. I'm blessed to talk to thousands of people a day, but it's still the mental stress of money and everything's still there. It's not like it just evaporates when you like work as a video game, like a video game player or a YouTuber. Like it just doesn't go away. It's still there.
Yeah. And I think this is where you talk about empathy. It's very important. Every now and then you'll see somebody who's rich and famous, and it seems like they have a perfect life. Yep. And maybe they'll get caught on a bad day, or maybe they really are hurting, and they'll say, being famous, it's not what you think it is. And a lot of people say, oh, boo-hoo. Well, yeah, look, there are much worse fates in life than to be rich and famous. But if a person got into acting because they loved acting and their career turned out really well, they've won some awards, they make a lot of money, the press follows them everywhere, they may think, I like the idea of being in these wonderful movies or TV shows, and I like people saying hey and saying nice things and taking selfies with them. But man, I didn't ask for all this other shit. I didn't ask for people constantly scrutinizing every single move I make. I didn't ask for me taking a picture on the beach with my sweetheart, people saying, oh, dude, you're getting fat. Or how come you don't have those rock hard abs? It's like, I'm just like you. I'm not perfect. And the scrutiny that people get at a certain level, and I've been around a few of them, there's a defense they have up because, man, if they didn't have it, they would mentally really suffer.
No, totally. And, that just all plays into like the burnout feature and like the burnout like phase that a lot of streamers go through. And it's tough to see because, they're going through it right now. And they're going through it from like someone like me, like, they're going through it, but you also know in the back of their mind, they're like, I can't take a break. I can't do this. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? And it's like this constant loop where they're just like, what am I going to do? Because I'm not happy on stream. I know if I take a break, I'm going to be so nervous about everything else.
Yeah.
And that's when you just got to implement, personally, for me, healthier choices outside of streaming. Like that's what it comes down to, because, just because you're streaming, you can still have a bad day at work, man. You can hop on, have a bad day at work, and you gotta, your whole day can't just, it's like imagine if it's like Tim the Tam Man, right? He has a wife, a kid, everything. He has a bad day at stream. He gets off and he just sits there and sulks. Probably not. He probably has to completely distance himself from stream for that night and, not think about it and just think, I'll just have a better day tomorrow and be with his wife and kid and be the best person he could be in that moment too. And that's extremely important to have like a healthier lifestyle outside of streaming for a streamer. And I've recognized that big time this year, man. Big time.
So what are some of your healthy choices you do outside of stream that make you well-rounded, that keep you balanced?
For sure. I don't only just watch anime. I do like a lot of like, whether it's private, but I do it for myself. I just write reviews on anime. I fucking love it. It's something that's extremely like expressive to me because I'm like, hey, I love this anime. I can watch it every day. Why not just write about it? Why not write what I like about it, what I don't like about it? So I write them privately. Maybe one day I'll do it, right? But I do that privately. I work out. I do compound like lifts every day. I have like 2 hours of working out every morning that I do. And then, dude, stuff as simple as me just going to like a gas station, getting my favorite drink on a walk, listening to my favorite song, and then I come back. And that's when I start streaming. When I do that walk, it's like, I'm going to work now. And when I step in my house, I'm in work. I'm in my apartment. That's when I go to work. It's like stepping into I think of it as like me stepping into my office now, And then when at nighttime, when I have to go to bed, I take a walk again, and then I step back in. Okay, now I'm back in my house. Like that's how I handle these things because my mom was also a psychologist, and she said, the next time you get an apartment in your next 5 years, you need a separate bedroom. You need a separate something for your workplace because you need to be able to recognize, hey, like if right now my setup's in my bedroom, right? So I think of me sleeping in here as I'm still working, even though I'm in here because I'm still staring at this fucking setup. You know? Like that's how you feel. So I take the steps like that to make sure that I'm completely disassociated from my stream. I'm still with my community on Twitter, on Instagram, but I'm disassociated from my stream when I leave and then come back So that's a couple things that I do. You know, I also just love supporting like small artists. So I'll sit in like a small artist stream who like does like shoes that like have anime on them, or like they do artwork for Apex. Like I follow a lot of like the Apex like lore people that like love the lore, like David Frozen Fro, like on Twitter. Like I love that, man. So I always do my best to like just do whatever it may take to like not think about streaming if it had a bad day, for sure.
Right. No, that's good. And your mom is definitely right about the distancing yourself from physically from work, because you are not just that one job that you've created for yourself. And and that's why we see all the boxes behind you, because you're moving, and you're gonna move to a space where hopefully you have that distance.
Yep, exactly. And that's the plan, you know? And sorry, I talk like a motherfucker. So if I'm talking too much, just tell me, shut the fuck up.
No, it's good.
My family is, just rambles on and on. But yeah, so, I think it's extremely important to take like the steps, no matter how small and like how small or minute you think they might be in your life, it can make the biggest change, And you see just a lot. It's sad because right now, especially with quarantine, a lot of these streamers can't go out and see like their streamer friends at a bar. They can't do IRL streams or like go see like their friends. Yeah. And right now we're going through it because every day feels the same if you're doing the same thing over and over again, man.
Yeah.
Fucking 8 months have passed, man. It feels like 2 weeks for me. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's Groundhog Day. It's just the same really shit. And and in California, it really can feel like that because the weather is usually pretty consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. And totally, now we got fires, and what's made it really hard is the air quality has gotten so bad. It's like we can barely even get outside, because before, at least as a healthy way to get outside, you got your mask on. If there's no one around, you could lower it a bit, get some air. Now with the fires burning everywhere, we're thinking we're going to go for a drive. That's what I'm going to do that with my wife and kids. She's homeschooling them. And then after we're done, we're going to get in the car and we're just going to drive. We're going to see, we're going to see some beautiful scenery.
And that's still great. You know? That's like, and that's awesome. You're still, a lot of people would just say, fuck it, let's just not do anything. Let's just stay at home and just do a movie. But that drive, could mean a lot for your kids right now. Especially, and maybe even you and your wife,
Oh, yeah.
Just getting the hell out and driving, listening to music and spending family time.
Yeah. I think what happens with the internet as well, and the internet, people have to realize this, and especially with Twitch and YouTube, and I love Twitch and YouTube, but their algorithms, because and I say that now, all right?
Yeah.
Here comes some shit.
I know, it always starts like that.
Twitch and YouTube are so designed to keep you there. That's all there is to it. Twitch knows the more you stream, the more we're going to reward you. And YouTube knows the more time you spend on YouTube and the more time you get other people to spend watching your videos, the more we're going to reward you. And before you know it, you're in a golden cage. And you've got to be able to separate from that and say, I can objectively say it is not healthy to spend way too much time creating stuff and posting it and curating it and figuring out algorithms if I'm not eating healthy, I'm not having time to exercise, if I'm not having time to sleep, if I'm not having time for interpersonal relationships, even if they're through Zoom. If I'm neglecting all that because I don't want to lose what I have on Twitch and YouTube, I'm out of balance.
Yeah.
And people have to realize these algorithms are extremely effective at keeping you there. And you have to remember, they're not thinking about your mental health. They're thinking about their bottom line as a business.
Totally. And, that's the harsh reality of it all, because once they put you in that golden cage, you're seeing everything all up there. You're excited about all the analytics. You're looking at and then now it's just like, well, I don't really want to maybe you're like, hey, I don't want to put this much effort anymore. And you're worried about everything collapsing. And that's a ton of pressure to build something up that you wanted for your life. And then being like, oh man, this is a lot. I might need to step back and be like, well, I can't, because you know how the YouTube algorithm works. If I miss a post date or I miss something, they might fuck me on the next video for 20,000 views.
Yeah.
Totally.
And again, I'm very lucky. I have a successful voice acting career. I don't need this income and the little bit that there is.
Yeah.
And I can tell myself I have the luxury of stepping away. If I had to do this for my living, I would, for a while at least, and this is true for any business that's a startup, I'd have to be out of balance for a bit just to get it going. And then I would have to have the discipline to say, okay, it's kind of on rails a bit. I'm going to lose a little bit if I step away some, but I'm going to gain in the other areas of my life. And I need those other areas.
That's what I'm doing right now, man. I've been lost. I've been so imbalanced this last year. But after that imbalance, I finally recognized, hey, you're doing now. We know what you need to do, what feels right to you.
Yeah.
And, I tell my stream all the time, listen, I might not have as many views as the first top guy on the page, but it's the long run for me. I'd rather be healthier long run, happier long run than this person who's getting 4 times the amount of views than me right now.
Yeah.
And is not happy in the next 6 months, or needs to and that's very important to me. Longevity is something that I've always believed in because my Nana's 97 and she's extremely happy in everything,
Nice.
And I want to be 90 and I want to be happy and healthy. I want to be 30 and I want to be happy and healthy and not, worried about everything. And I want to look back at myself when I'm like this age, right? When I'm 30 and I'm proud of the steps that I took to make sure I feel okay right now in that moment. And that's extremely important.
Oh yeah. And believe me, asking yourself the question why is really important. A lot of times we don't want to ask that question because we know the answer. But if you find that you're getting out of balance, ask yourself, why am I choosing the things that are getting me here? Usually when you choose something, it's working for you in some way. Yeah. But when you're out of balance, it's not working in other ways. And asking yourself why, you probably saw this with some of your classmates in school, the ones who absolutely have to get into the right college. Yep. And so they took all the extra classes. They had all the extracurricular activities. They were building a resume since they were kids. Their parents were putting that on them too. And I ask myself, but why? I mean, you're going to go to this school. Okay, you're going to get a degree. All right, why? Is it a job you absolutely have to have? Okay, why? Why do you have to have that job? Yeah. And really what it ends up boiling down to is that the parents, if you gave them truth serum, they'd say, we want them to have the status that comes with this degree, with having this job and living in this neighborhood. And look, I understand it. It's nice to have money. It's nice to live in a nice neighborhood. It's nice to have all that. But are you willing to make yourself and your child miserable to insist that they have that?
God bless, bro, for real. That's 100%. I came from a very rich, white, preppy town, and that's all about.
You saw that all the time.
See, I fucking saw it every day in high school, man. I was not a good high school student. I was going through a lot of mental stuff. I missed, I went through my 11th grade. It was probably the worst year of my life. I missed 86 days of school, dude. I almost didn't graduate because I was skipping gym class. And, I was just depressed. But all these people all these parents, man, it was like a clique. They just they were like the elite group of kids, like these cliquey parents that would talk shit even about their kids' friends, that were you're going to go to this school, you're going to get a lacrosse sponsorship or a scholarship, and then you're going to go do this, and you're going to live in the city with this job, and you're going to, all that stuff. And dude, you look on some of these kids right now, and they're miserable. It's so obvious. And as a personal trainer, I worked and it's completely reflective in my job that I did. I worked at Equinox, which is the most bougie of the bougie.
Oh yeah, we have them here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys have an LA. I worked in New York City.
It's a gym with a valet. That right there tells you something. You don't want to walk through the parking lot, you lazy fuck.
Yeah, there you go. And that's, dude, that Equinox, man. You'd come, and I worked with some people that had some insane jobs, I'm a music producer for this, or but I also worked with a lot of people who were just young, 27-year-olds that just did finance jobs because they'd be my parents wanted me to go to this college, and they were so every time they come to me, it wasn't just a workout, it was a goddamn therapy session. And I was there to hear and listen, of course, but in my mind, I'm fuck, man, these guys can be making $300,000 right now in 2 months, but they are not happy. These people are really sad right now.
Oh yeah.
That was completely reflected in my town, my job. And that's what made me quit my old job. Is bro, I no, because I'm not gonna do personal training for the rest of my life, and I knew that. But I was I don't know what the fuck I want to do. Well, might as well just go dive headfirst into this streaming shit, because this is what I wake up every day looking at my Twitter, looking at my favorite streamers, and I'm damn, I want to be that person.
Okay.
And I had $2,000 in my bank account. My rent was $900, so I put 2 months down. I called my mom. I quit my job, and I was I'm sending it. And she was I'll put $30 in your card each week for food if you want to. So I would buy fucking baked beans, and then get some I would go to H Mart and get some Asian chicken, and I'd eat that every night. That's all I would eat. And I sent it, and I put everything I had because I looked at like my hometown people. I looked at these people that I worked with at Equinox, and I was like, I refuse to be one of that.
Yep.
I refuse for that to happen to me. And then once stuff started to get really hard with streaming, and I was suffering from some mental health stuff, and I was a little confused. Like I told you, I talked to my best friend who's hot sick, and he said something to me that was like, is gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. You quit your shitty job to stream, so don't make streaming another shitty job.
Yeah.
And that fucking stuck with me. And I just keep running with it now, dude. It's just true. Don't make it another shitty job. Take the steps to make yourself happy, because you don't want to do anything else that's shitty. You want to do this.
Yeah.
So that's super important, man. For
sure.
Oh,
yeah. I'll never forget. I wasn't much older than you. I was probably 27. Yeah. And I had been making my way in Orlando. I had been ingratiating myself with these producers at Nickelodeon, and I'd been on a few of their shows. And then they asked me one time, and they had me in a conference room. They're all sitting around a table, and it was just me on the other side. And they said, we want you to be the audience warm-up for this show. The audience warm-up is a guy that comes out, messes around with the audience, keeps everybody happy, and he sort of runs the audience, like the tone of the show, make sure that for a live taping of a show, everybody's happy and having a good time. Yeah. And I had a stand-up background, and I could kind of do it, but I hated audience warm-up.
Yeah.
Fucking hated it with the white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns, because it wasn't stand-up. It wasn't acting. Yep. You're babysitting an audience, and you're constantly having to think on your feet and run games and do this and that. And it's like, I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And I had to look at a room full of producers that I desperately wanted to please. And I desperately wanted to like me. And I had to say, I can't. I don't want you to think of me as the audience warm-up guy. It's like, no, we'll have you around for other things too. And I'd said, and then they said, you want more money? You want more money? And I kind of said, okay. And I left, and then I called up my agent, and they offered some more money, and it wasn't a lot, you know. Yeah. And these were good guys. They were just trying to fill a job. It wasn't like it was their fault. They just really wanted me for that. And I called up my agent, and I said, I got to renege. I got to say I can't do it. I can't do it. And I said, you know why? So let me explain it. It's like if I accidentally fell into a crocodile pit, and I wrestled my way out of there to avoid being eaten, and I just barely clawed my way out before they devoured me. And somebody said, that's the most entertaining thing I ever saw. I will pay you to do that every week. I said, that's audience warm-up.
Yeah.
And she said, it feels like to you. Yeah. She said, then you got to say no. And I didn't hear from those producers for a year. And then I got to do a show of theirs, you know, like an episode of the show of theirs. And maybe it was a coincidence, but at the same time, I realized I said no to something I just genuinely could not bring myself to do it.
And it still worked out, dude.
It worked out fine. Yeah, it worked out fine. But man, sometimes you just have to say, like you said, this is a business I love being in, and yet there are shitty jobs within it. Yeah. Sometimes you create them without meaning to.
Totally. And, you know, like I always thought of life as like, you know, there's some ladders you just got to climb, like some little bumps in the road you just got to get over. But sometimes, man, there are bumps that are just bumps. You don't have to get over them. You can just say, fuck that bump. I don't want to deal with that little bump in the road right now. And that was like, that's what you did, right? You're like, I genuinely hate this bump in the road. Like, whatever this is, I don't want to do it. And you didn't have to fucking climb over. You didn't have to just, you know, you didn't have to, you know, go through that bump or that little venture you went through. You just said, fuck it. I'm not doing that. And that's a, like, I like to call that what I always say to my friends, like a big boy decision. That's a big boy decision. Like, you know, as we grow up more and more, you're making big boy decisions, dog. Like this ain't easy. Like
put on your adult pants.
Exactly. Dude, that's what I tell all my best friends. Like, you know, and even with like, you know, a couple people quitting Apex professionally when they have a really good thing going for them, but they're not happy. It's like, dude, that's a big boy decision. I'm proud of you. It takes a lot to admit that.
Yeah. I think people also could use this as a perspective. When I was doing stand-up, I remember my dad, he was driving me around. I was visiting him in Texas, and he had already retired. And he was born in 1940, all right, or 1941. So you go to college, you know, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you keep that job till you retire, and then you enjoy your retirement. That's what you do. You get one job and you hold it.
Yeah.
So he's asking me, he says, what do you think you're going to make this year from stand-up? And I told him, and there's this pause, and he said, do you think you'd ever consider doing something else? And I said, no, I'm in show business, Dad. This is what I do. And he told me at a different time, he said, your generation is very interesting. When I came up, you got a degree and then you got a job. Yeah. You didn't question it. He says your generation, mine, decides what they want to do, and then you go do that. Like, I'm part of the last generation where you could go to school, get a degree, and be guaranteed to have one job for the rest of your life if you wanted it. Yeah. Even people now, your peers are going and getting these degrees, and they may not last more than 5 years in whatever job they get.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
People have to realize you're not going to have one career your whole life. It's more than likely you're going to have several. So just pick the ones that you have passion for, that when you wake up, you think, I can't wait to do what I'm going to do today.
You more than likely have options depending on like what you if you're going for like more realistic things, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think with like the whole college thing, I think there's like in my family, you know, I was pushed to go to college because I would have been like one of the first people to get a degree. My whole family did construction. They never graduated from college, right? Like
wow.
My dad's side is all construction, right?
Wow.
So my brother, who's 4 years older than me, was the first person to ever in my dad's side get a degree from college, you know, just because they're like the blue collar workers. They all did like the crazy construction jobs, crane operating, stuff like that. And for me, my dad were like, you should go to college, you know, like you should go to college. And I said, fuck it, I can't go away. I had that like little thing. I was like, I'll go to community college. And they were fine with that. But right when I found out this, like, I just didn't want to go to college, they full on supported me immediately. Right. And like that, without them and them being understanding, I'd be fucked right now. I'd probably be working some job I'm miserable in. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that I picked the careers in my life that are going to make me happier. And I think settling is wrong when it comes to a career and a passion like that and what you're going to do for the rest of your life. People settle in all different things in life, and it's okay to settle for like if you're going to eat a steak that's medium instead of a medium rare, right? Like that's fine. I'll settle for a fucking steak, whatever.
Right.
When it comes down to something for the rest of your life, right? It's like even like a relationship. Like, yeah, well, I'm going to settle for this girl. She might not be the best to me. She might like be really like, you know, horrible at points, but I'm going to settle for her. It's just like, this is something the rest of your life
you're going to regret that.
Yes, like exactly. And you know, I think settling for huge things like that is absolutely the wrong decision 10 out of 10 times, and no one could convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. The trick is knowing when you're settling and when you're simply making like you say, a wise compromise. Okay. Exactly. Given the situation, then I shouldn't expect more than this because I understand the terrain I'm on. But if you're in a job and you hate it, okay, are you giving that job a chance? Are you approaching it the right way? Okay, fine. Then give yourself permission to walk away. But then there are other times, like I don't regret saying no to the producers about audience warm-up. There are other times when I could call myself out and say, you kind of wussed out there. Yeah, it's totally a different situation. You were challenged and you were just scared and you didn't rise to it. So you need to give that a chance next time. When that opportunity arises, be brave, go for it, know when you've given it enough of a chance, and then say, all right, now I'm stepping away.
Yeah. And that's when life becomes extremely situational. It's just like, you know, that's why I agree and also disagree with some motivational like videos or speakers is like, they're telling you to take all these risks to this stuff. Well, my life's different from yours and what you did. Yeah. But honestly, your advice of maybe powering through some stuff could really get me through to another level of my mind and like actually make me advance and into like a better, like a more, you know, motivated human. So I feel like with like motivational videos and stuff like that and things of that nature, like even what you're saying right there is just, you know, life is very situational. You can call yourself out on a lot of stuff, but also you can be very proud that you didn't do something. And then you can regret that you didn't do something, you know? And I think what you said, like taking a step back and looking at it is extremely important in those times and not making like rash decisions for sure.
Yeah. This is why the Greek philosophers passed this along. And I think it was Socrates. Basically, know yourself. Yeah. When you know yourself, then you know why you do what you do. You can examine your feelings, your thoughts, and know when you're making a wise choice and a not so wise choice. It takes practice, but like you say, then you understand the situation. You know that, okay, it's not me, it's this environment, okay? So this is a wise choice right now because, you'll meet sometimes they're not even motivational speakers. They're people that just absolutely insist that you're always happy. It's like, how you doing? I'm feeling kind of sad right now. No. You turn that frown upside down. No, you power through it. It's like, hey.
Yeah, I'm allowed to feel that way.
My dog died. All right, I get to be sad.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, my advice is be a human. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're sad, let yourself be sad. Now, if you're continuing to mope around, and if you know you're avoiding getting back out there because you don't want to get hurt again, now it's time to start picking yourself up a bit. Now you want that friend to come around and give you a pep talk, but you should never keep yourself from feeling bad if you're supposed to feel bad.
Totally. And dude, sometimes feeling bad is just gonna make you grow even more. Sometimes you just gotta sit in the guilt. If you make a bad decision, where it hurts someone, like in a relationship, just sometimes the most constructive criticism, like self-criticism, is just realizing what you did and feeling that guilt. Yeah. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel guilty. You're allowed to feel sad about something that happens. Like you're not some superhuman powerhouse who could just with the saddest moments, I'm just gonna uprise and fucking get over it.
Yeah. Those are very rare people, and and most of us, this is what life is. Yep. And the wise person is able to know, okay, I'm on a wave. It's going up. Everything's going great. I didn't really cause any of it, so I'm just going to enjoy it. Okay. Yeah. Now things are going down. All right, let me put something into practice to get me back up. But, just realize gravity is what it is. Yeah. That life is ups and downs. People, especially if you spend a lot of time on the internet, you're being sold a fairy tale all the time on Instagram. My God, the amount of butt selfies on Instagram that make you think, well, why doesn't my body look like that? It's like, well, first of all, that person's severely dehydrated. All right. Yep. They don't tell you that. That person didn't drink water for the last 12 hours so they could take this ab selfie. Yep. So 100%. You don't want to be them right now. All right.
That's a whole other thing, dude. The fitness industry and stuff like that, the fakes and everything, the filter. Oh God. That's, that one definitely hurt me when I was a teenager, dude. Yeah. For fucking sure. When I was 13, looking at all these shredded guys who were 20, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I hope I'm like that. And then when I wasn't like that, I was like, damn, I'm fucking a loser. I'm not like these guys, dude. And then I didn't know they're on trend. They're on fucking all these different things, under the sun, 30 different drugs, dude, to make themselves look like that.
Exactly. It just for the people who are worried about the fitness, you want to know whether or not you're doing it right. Go to your checkup, get your blood work done. Yep. If everything's in that range, then just keep doing that. Your body is whatever it's supposed to be. If you're being healthy, great. Yep. You can sculpt it. I'm working out a little heavier now. I'm getting older. I want to build some more muscle. But I know, if I go in for that checkup and the numbers are off, he's going to say, you should back off some of that, or you should do more of this. It's like,
totally, man.
That's what it boils down to.
Yep. Your inside numbers are a lot more important than your outside numbers, dude.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Exactly. 100%.
And one thing that's going to stick with me that I really like what you said is going back to that is you said, sometimes it's the environment and not you. Yeah. And dude, for my old job at personal trainer, my boss was the biggest asshole in the world. And he always made it seem like it was me. And he always made it seem like it was the trainers. It always did. And all the trainers were miserable. And that's why, almost looking back at them now and talking to them, almost all of them quit. And I was one of the first ones to quit. And I realized, man, when I came down to it, it's not me. It's fucking you. It's you. After months of putting up with this and thinking I'm the problem in this scenario and think I'm not grown up enough to do this job, it's not me. It's you. And I left. Yeah. And it was the best decision ever. When you really take a step back and I looked, I was like, oh my God, well, that's not me. Why am I dealing with this? I thought I was some immature kid, but I probably could have done this job better if I had a different boss. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing you have to learn in life is how to deal with difficult people, because sometimes you can just say, oh, I'm just going to avoid that person. I don't need them. Other times they are right in the way of where you're trying to go. And it becomes an art form to learn. Some of them you can just power through. Others, you have to be diplomatic. You have to finesse. And others, you just have to just straight up pity. It's like, man, if you're this miserable that all you do is think of ways to make other people miserable, the only way I can tolerate you is by feeling sorry for you. But that's another thing we're trying to teach our kids is there are going to be difficult people in life, and you can't always just run the other way. Sometimes they are in your way, and you got to learn how to get through them or around them. Yeah. And at least with this boss, it's like, well, fuck this job. I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. I was able to do that, right? Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I can't get you removed. You're the boss. So,
But even then, like putting someone in their place is like important. Even if like it makes you feel better and they might not change from it, at least you said what you had to say. And I told my boss, I was like, you know what, man, you're completely unfair. I view like, and I might have been a little bro. I was like, I view you as an asshole. I don't view you as a boss. I view you as like a dictator around this place. And I genuinely hate working here. And you know, it might not have been 100% right, but I felt better saying that. And I might have put him in his place. Who knows? He might be better off now. He might be thinking about what I said, and it might have helped him. But sometimes there's just difficult people, and you either got to just try to get around them and just be like, oh God, this guy again. I'll just do something else. I'll figure it out. Or you just tell him straight up, like, hey man, you're like extremely difficult right now. Like you are being something that is like I've never seen before. Like we got to figure something out.
Yeah. Like you say, it's situational. There are going to be times where you realize, this is a good, I'm going to go ahead and use this moment. Somebody's got to tell them.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with the fallout, but man, somebody's got to do it. I'll step up.
Totally. And I think that's another thing. It's just another big boy decision. It's like, you know, I've never in my life when I was younger would have ever thought I'd tell someone ever like what I truly think about them. Cause I'm just gonna tell everyone they're great. And that's that, you know, I don't want to start anything here.
Right.
But now growing up, I'm like, when my friends like being a dick, I'm like, dude, like, what's wrong with you right now? Like you're acting completely out of pocket. This is like what you want to talk about it more. And I've come to realize the more you start to say things just a little bit more real, the happier you feel. And you know, sometimes you could really help someone change for the better. Yeah. Because without my friends telling me and like old toxic relationships, like, dude, what are you doing? You're being absolutely like unreasonable right now with like this girl and like you're being fake to us. Without them saying that, I'd probably still be in those toxic relationships and not really thinking for myself. So difficult people are always going to be anywhere you go, man. You just got to have some real people that say some real shit to you sometimes. Yeah.
Well, that's the other important thing is that the company you keep is really important. You rise or sink to the level of the company you keep. If you hang out with ambitious people, chances are you're going to become more ambitious, or you already were. But if you're lazy and you don't ask much of yourself, you probably end up choosing people that aren't going to ask much of you either. Yep. And people sort of stay at these levels. And so I'm sure in gaming in particular, the people you love to game with are the people that are a lot like you. Maybe they add a facet to you. It's like, you know what? I could use a little bit more of what this person has. Yeah. And maybe they feel the same about me. And we're going to, together, we will continue forward. Totally. So that community you build for yourself must be really crucial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're surrounding yourself with someone 8 hours a day, and it could be 1,000 people a day you're seeing daily, you know, it's extremely important. And I see these people 10 times. I haven't seen my family in 8 months, but I see some viewers every day for 9 hours, you know? Yeah. And that's extremely important to have people that you actually genuinely care about in your community, because if not, then you're surrounded by people you hate. And it could be not just one, it could be 1,000 people you don't like in your channel and your community. And that's why, you know, I'm not going to name names, but just, you know, you see people come off stream and they're like, oh my God, my chat, man. My chat is like fucking my community, dude. What's up with them? What the fuck? Like, it's just like, I'm thankful that I did not make something that I get off stream and I'm more worried. I'm like, oh God, dude, my chat, man. I hate my community. Like, I'm very thankful that when I get on stream, I'm excited to talk to some people every day. You know, it's very important because those become your friends indirectly.
I wasn't even aware that was a thing because you know, I'm myself on my chat. And so the people come out and they tend to be people that are happy. And even if they're having mental issues, I make it easy for them to talk about it. I'll say, hey, totally. we should talk about this stuff. All right. We're on the internet where a lot of people misuse their time. Let's be productive. I wasn't aware until later that there were streamers that hated their fucking chat. Yeah, it's like, my God, my chat's a bunch of douchebags. I said, well, why don't you create a different chat then?
Yeah. Why don't you start to? Yeah. Why aren't you showing the energy that maybe that they will bring better people in? You know,
they're responding to your signal. Why are you putting up with that?
Exactly. You know? You're causing this. You know, maybe like you need to look back and be like, maybe I'm being a little too toxic on stream. That's why I've been people in here going to other people's chats and being mean. Like, you know, that's another big thing is like, I think you're responsible for your community no matter how big it is. I personally believe that to the fully. I don't care if you have 70,000 viewers or 5. Yeah. If you go and you get killed by another streamer or like another streamer says something about you on stream, you are personally responsible. Maybe you can't handle 70,000 people. Of course, it's a lot, but you are responsible. At least say something and be like, hey, don't go to that person's chat and be a dick. Like at least just say it, And that's like I think a lot of people struggle with like realizing like what their chat is capable of too as a streamer, the power you hold as a influencer and stuff. One little comment, bro, could send 100,000 people or 100 people to go and shit on someone, and that can make their day horrible, dude.
I know. This happened to me once. It was a few weeks ago. I was playing on my stream. No, it wasn't negative. It was funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't negative at all. But I was playing, and I was playing with, I think I was playing with Staycation.
Okay,
and and he's really good. And
I love him.
I'm playing with one of my mods in Staycation, and we just get wiped by one guy. He comes in, and I did like 60 damage. So I was thrilled later, but we just got wiped. And Stay said, this guy's really good. And it's like, oh my God. It was TSM Arbolelli, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
It's like the #1 Pathfinder. It's like, we just got wiped. And he did it on his stream. He was practicing.
That's funny.
And so a bunch of people came over from his stream and got on my chat and said, oh yeah, that was TSM that did that. And so they weren't trash talking. I just said, I thought it was hysterical that Pathfinder's voice got wiped by like the top pro Pathfinder. And I said, tell him he needs to apologize. We just thought it was funny. Like one or two of them probably thought for fun, maybe we could create a beef. It's like, I'm not going to beef with anybody over this horse shit.
Yeah. Well, it's a video game, man.
Yeah. And I think he DM'd me on Twitter and I like followed him and he just said, hey, sorry. I just said, no.
That's so funny.
It was funny, but I realized, people hop streams to talk to each other. And I was just so oblivious to all this that happens, this ecosystem that's there. And you're right. It's delicate. You have a lot of power. You can just send people off to a different place with a mission. And if you're going to do that, like if you're going to raid somebody, you're doing something positive and fun and uplifting and supportive. Or you could actually say, this guy's a prick. I want you to go tell him. Like that's a lot of power people have.
And you don't even have to say that. You can just hint at it. And your chat gets the fun. People are smart. They're not idiots, man.
Yeah.
If you're like, yo, this guy, man, he's garbage. And like your chat's going to know, hey, man, my streamer said that. I'm going to go to his chat for sure and let him know that he said that, Like, let's reiterate it. It's fucking crazy.
I know. That scares me, how much power there is there. But it's the world we live in. And
100%, man.
I can't deny that it's out there. So since we got it, let's try to make it like the healthiest version of itself.
Hard to agree, man.
Yeah. So here you are looking at your schedule for the week and you have like, how many days a week do you stream? I stream 6 days. 6 days. Okay.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
So you're putting in how many hours a week on average, do you think?
Probably like, I would say average around like 7 hours a day.
7 hours a day. All right. So you're putting in a 40-hour week.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. That's a full-time job right there.
Exactly.
Now, as far as the content you get out of it, is there a lot of curating of videos for YouTube, or is it just, I'm going to put up the VODs and let that be that?
So yeah, I have an editor. It's actually really awesome. So I try to like work with people that don't really have a lot of like other clients, etc. I got really lucky that one of my really good friends, we were close in high school. We weren't like best friends, we were close. And he actually just hit me up. He's like, hey man, I edit videos. Can I give yours a shot? And this is when I was smaller. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's go for it. It's actually been working out like phenomenally now. And I help someone have an income that's just trying to get more clientele. And he keeps saying, hey man, I have more and more people asking me to work for them because of you.
That's great.
And that's awesome because he just goes to my VODs. He just edits a video and he makes the video very, very funny. He's very good at what he does. And that's like our content, And I think that's for YouTube, that's majority of like streamers content because we can't get off and then make like another video like, hey, this is NiceWigg here. I did this challenge. It's hard, You have to do everything on stream, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was because I love to edit, but man, it is time consuming.
It's hard, dude. It's really hard. Yeah.
Good editor, worth their weight in gold.
Every fucking cent, dude. I would never not pay for an editor, bro, or buy out like someone. Contract to help me for sure, 100%.
Well, do you think a lot of people? I'm of the mind that it's good to know where you're headed, but you also want to break it up into manageable sections. So, do you think about, all right, here's where I want to be in a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years? Do you think how far down the line will you go with where you want to be?
For me, I don't really think short term. But I go week by week, but I think
Okay.
long term, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I have a long term goal, but I don't think out the short term plans to get to that long term goal. I
Okay.
just kind of go with the flow. And when things come my way, I think hey, do I want to seize this opportunity? I want to fly by. Like, is it going to help me get to that goal? If not, then I don't want it. If it's going to help me, then for sure I'm down for it.
Okay.
And then sometimes I'm just like, oh, this seems fun. Let me just do it. Like, I'll enjoy myself. It might make my day better, or make my week better. And like, my end game goal is to get signed to like a certain organization that I feel that I'm happy with, right? So that's my goal in like a year, is to be somewhere in an org that I'm happy with. I'm happy with, like, I'm just happy to represent an org that I'm passionate about, right?
Gotcha.
And that for me is my goal right now. And and there's no other numbers or analytics involved. It's just me being on an org that I'm proud of. And and that's like another thing is like, do I want to think every week by week plan a schedule? I really don't. I don't want to think like, hey, I need to do this on this week to get like the more viewership, because that stresses me the fuck out.
Right.
But I know every day I want to stream at this time. I know I want to do this in the morning. I know I want to do that. And then I'll just, as more opportunities come to me, I'll deflect or I'll accept. Like, that's what I think. Like, my best friend had tattooed on his wrist, do it or don't. Right? Do it or not do it or don't. Do or don't. And I love that saying, because like, hey, like when you came to me with this offer, it was the fucking easiest thing in the world. I was like, dude, like that's the easiest acceptance in my life. Like, I love your content. I love the way I've seen these before. I love the way you talk. And I was like, I'm down 100%. This is fun. Like this is a good time. Yeah. And then when it comes down to like something else, if I get an offer for like a sponsorship or an ad, and it's just like, okay, I'll make a certain amount of money, but it's just, do I really like care how much? I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. That's what it comes down to for me, for sure.
Right. Now, how much of the right org coming along and signing you, how much of that do you feel like is in your control, or how much of it is, I just have to keep myself out there for and then eventually the right one will find me?
I think streamers, I think content creators have control of that. I think the perception of the way you hold yourself is really, really, I think organizations recognize that and then see you as a fit if they accept, like, if you match like what they're looking for, right? So like obviously TSM has like their own couple streamers, like TSM is like the elite, and everyone's like, you don't have like their organization, like their kind of streamer-esque thing is like a little more like confident, just like very good gamers-esque type thing, right? And then you have 100 Thieves, who is just like, maybe not the best gamers, but very, very like street brand like merchandise, very funny, like outgoing content creators, and then just like being a brand new like literal fucking like millennial style gaming company, right? And that's awesome. And for me, when that comes down to it, like I always think in the back of my head, I have a place I want to go, right? And I think I would work for them, so I'm going to keep myself open, because for me, I was working with CLG. I was signed to CLG, and there's no shade to CLG. They treated me like a gem. Like my first organization ever. It was very scary signing a contract. It was my first thing I've ever done like that.
Right.
And they treated me like a gem, thank God. But when it came down to it, I just didn't feel like I messed with them. I curse a lot. I say a lot of stupid shit on stream. I'm just very outgoing and energetic, and there was like they were a little bit more corporate-y. They were more like, they're more like less of a gaming organization, I felt like, and more of like a little corporate, like League of Legends organization. Right. And they're, I already said this on stream, so that's like public, and that's just my honest, genuine feeling. I still love them and appreciate them. Yeah. It's just I just don't feel like I fit with them.
Yeah,
right?
The fit's not there.
Yeah. So when now, after being on an organization, I felt a little uncomfortable on, and it's not because of them, it's just because of me. I felt uncomfortable being on there. I don't ever want to be uncomfortable in an organization again. Yeah. Like that's like my main priority. And I think a lot of people feel that when they get to sign up to an organization as a content creator, because kind of just, you got what you wanted. And now you're like, feel like, well, what do I else do from here? Yeah. Keeping your options open to me is way more exciting. And like keep working towards something than accepting an offer immediately and then I have nothing to work for anymore. I feel like. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, and for you, do you feel like for the foreseeable future, obviously video games are just, they're a major part of your life. Yeah. And I read on your Twitch, you've always played them. You found them early, and then now you get to do them as a job, a job where you get to set your own hours. Yeah. Do you see any other kind of technology out there that you might embrace one day that might make you feel the way video games do? Or is this sort of a singular thing? I think this is a singular thing, to be honest. I think video games, like, it's just like one, the nostalgic feeling of hopping on every day, of like playing video games on like a Saturday morning, like a Sunday morning. Like, I've always done that my whole life, and now getting to do that while thousands of people watch me is like there's no better feeling. So I think it's a very singular thing. I don't think it goes to just one video game. Like I play a bunch of video games on stream. It's not just Apex, right? But I do think video games as a whole is like what I want to do majority of the time. But also I'm very into like these deep conversations. I like talking about life, man, because I come from a very fucked up family like that, or like, that always yelled at each other and shit like that. But we all loved each other. But like emotionally, bro, we're all over the place. And I learned a lot of shit when I was younger, right?
Right.
And I have the most supportive family. And if I could help people while having like the best family in the world on my back, maybe my best family and me, could reflect some of that onto them and make them be a better person. So I think for me, video games is going to be the thing I do for the rest of my life. Like, if I'm ever passionate about anything else, it's being a fireman. I would love to be a fireman too. Just something about that.
Really?
I always wanted to do. Yeah. So that's what I was going to be if this didn't work out. I took my fireman's test, and everything before I started streaming, up in New York. I would have been a Yonkers Fire Department. And like, that's something for sure. Like that, but yeah, video games, man, just a singular thing.
Well, do you know Ragtag?
I don't know Ragtag. No.
All right. RAGTAGG, or it might be RAGGTAGG. He'll kill me for not getting it exactly right. Scottish streamer. He's on Twitch. Yeah. Gutter tier is what he calls himself. Like there's this tier of gaming. His is gutter. I'm gutter tier gaming. He's very Scottish. He's awesome. I had him on and we talked about deep psychological stuff and all that. Awesome. He was a fireman.
That's cool.
He was a fireman, but due to neurological damage, he could no longer be a fireman. He discovered gaming. And he games. And that's awesome. You guys definitely, you know what? We need to get a squad together. You, me, Ragtag. We'll talk about fireman shit and we'll talk about everything else. And then you guys will have to carry me because I suck.
Dude, I would enjoy that so much. You have no idea, bro. I'm always down for stuff like this. All right. Taking a day of break of ranked and just not like trying to play to my best some days is just way more fun and enjoyable for me, bro. I'm always down.
Oh yeah, it's balance. If there's anything we want people to take away from this is you can do the stuff you love. You should be doing the stuff you love, but even the stuff you love can be too much. Like I love ice cream, but man, I'm not eating it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exactly.
Okay? So
extremely correct, bro. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I know you got a meeting to get to.
Yeah, I do.
You got stuff to do. You got boxes to unpack. But
man.
No, this was great. And I'm gonna have to start a Twitter DM with you and Ragtag and let's see if we can make this thing happen.
I'm down. Yeah, you guys just let me know a day and I'll put the time aside for sure.
This is great. I love that we got a chance to talk.
Yeah,
and
same here,
I love what you're putting out there. So thanks, as far as I'm concerned, you're doing it all right.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for making me a part of this. I seriously appreciate you, everything.
My
you
pleasure.
Do, so it means a lot, man.